For those of you who were here last year, you may have seen my colleague John Ward present Targa Exploration, but the story you're going to hear today is very different than that. Targa started out last year as an early stage lithium explorer in Canada, and while exploring on a number of our properties, what we ended up coming up with was not a big lithium discovery, but a very surprise gold anomaly on our Opanaca project in Quebec. And that project is really our sole focus this year as we go forward at Targa. You can find the details of our disclaimer and forward-looking statements on our website as well if you care to read that. So Targa was incubated out of the Inventa Capital Group here in Vancouver. For those of you who are not familiar with them, you may recognize some of their names, such as the big successes at Vizsla Silver, NextGen, and ISO Energy. So we have Craig Perry, who was some of the founders of those success stories as one of our advisors. He's also one of our largest shareholders and big supporter of the company. We've also teamed up with Discovery Group, as Brian mentioned. So Jim Paterson joined us as chairman at the end of last year. And we have John Robbins, who joined us last year as well as an advisor. They're big supporters and big shareholders of the company. And all these gentlemen are serially successful in the discovery-making business. Not only do they have a huge resume of discovery success in the field, but a lot of experience in translating that success in the field to success for their shareholders as well. You may recognize names like Kaminak Gold. They made that 5 million ounce coffee discovery in Yukon that was sold for $400 or $500 million for their shareholders. Great Bear in Ontario, they sold that to Kinross for over $1 billion. Vizsla Silver, that's got to be about a $600 million market cap right now. So the team that we have backing us at Targa, both through Inventa Capital and Discovery Group, has a serial success story behind them in terms of creating value for shareholders and making big discoveries. I myself am a mining engineer by background, but I've spent most of the last 15 years in North and South America focused on mineral exploration, and I'm very excited by what we're seeing here at our Opanaca project. So Opanaca, like I said, we started out looking for lithium here last year. We acquired this project from Kennerland Minerals at the end of 2022, originally for its, what we thought was its lithium prospectivity. It's located about 40 kilometers south of Patriot Battery Metals' big Corvette lithium pegmatite deposit. That is the largest lithium pegmatite resource in North America. But nobody had ever explored in Opanaca before for anything. This is completely unexplored territory that we acquired from Kennerland. We now own it outright 100%. They maintain a 3% royalty, and they're one of our largest shareholders. And we also retain them as project operators for Opanaca. So they help us execute our work in the field. They are experts in the sort of exploration that we're conducting. As Brian mentioned, they have made discoveries before using the same strategy, using the same team, and the same sort of glacial terrain here in the place in northern Quebec. We're about 140 kilometers northeast of the Éléonore gold mine. In terms of what style of gold deposit we're looking for at Opanaca, we haven't quite figured that out yet. We found a 4 kilometer by 5 kilometer gold anomaly in the regional till sampling that we did here last year. That was our big surprise, but it wasn't just gold that we were seeing in the till. It's arsenic, it's antimony. It's really the key geochemical elements that you want to find when you're looking for big gold deposits. So if you're not familiar with till, last ice age, about 10 to 15,000 years ago, pretty much all of Canada was blanketed in ice, and that ice was about 1 to 2 kilometers thick. That ice was very heavy, and it moved across the land. And as it moved across the country, it scraped up the bedrock, and any deposits of gold or other things that were exposed in that bedrock, pieces of that would have broken off, been ground down under the weight of that ice, crushed down to sand and clay, and transported many kilometers in the direction that the ice was traveling. Now that ice has receded and melted, we're left with the till material. That's the clay, the sand, the gravel, the boulders that it left behind. And that till can give us clues to what lies in the bedrock below the till. Somewhat similar to soil sampling, but soils typically represent the rocks that are directly below your sample. When it comes to till, that material, again, has traveled potentially several kilometers. So what we look for is we're sampling the surface of the till, looking for those key indicators like gold to give us clues to what might lie in the bedrock maybe several kilometers up from where we're seeing it actually in the till material. So there's a lot of things that can impact a till anomaly. It can be the thickness of the till, the type of gold deposit, what part of that deposit is exposed in the bedrock, the orientation of that exposure relative to the ice. So it's not exactly an exact science, but what we're really excited about is the size of the anomaly that we're seeing here. So after that initial results that we found from our program last year, we came back in June. We took another 1,500 till samples on the regional scale, and then another 1,100 over top of that central anomaly in an infill program here. What we've come up with now is a 7-kilometer long east-west trend where we are consistently seeing gold, arsenic, antimony shedding into the till down ice from this trend line. This trend matches up also with some geophysics in the area. We have some regional geophys. There's some sort of east-west trending structure along that limit of the gold that we're seeing in the till. We've also come up with an eastern anomaly as well, smaller in size but actually higher in grade. So potentially two different styles of mineralization in the area. We're seeing slightly different metal association with the two anomalies, but it's really the large anomaly in the center that's going to be the focus of our attention going forward here. So in addition to the fine fraction till samples that we've been taking here, we took a number of what are called HMC, or heavy mineral concentrate samples, here in June. Essentially, we take about a 10 kilogram sample of that material. We send it to a lab where they sieve it down and they concentrate it onto a shaking table to get the heavy density material. Then they look at that material under a microscope and actually identify individual gold grains. So this is more than just an assay coming back from a lab giving you the elemental reports. We're actually seeing physical gold grains under the microscope and counting those grains to get to both the quantity but also a quality. So we look at the edges of those grains. Are they sharp and angular, which would suggest that they have not traveled very far, they have not been rounded, or are they very round and have traveled? So we're seeing in many of our samples, 25 to 50% of these gold grains that we're seeing are very angular and pristine, which would suggest that a bedrock source is very close by. You can see here we also have some overlapping geophysics. So again, this place has never been explored for anything before. There are no historic drill holes here, no historic prospecting activity. We're really the first people to come in this area and actually look for gold. Our program in June was really the first time that we targeted gold on this project. And our next phase of work that we just wrapped up a couple of days ago was the first time that we actually had a big geology team in this target trend, actually looking for gold-bearing rocks. So that team came up with over 300 rock samples. Those rock samples are on their way to the lab right now. We've also come in and done an infill HMC sampling program directly over that trend line as well, again, to continue looking for those gold grains to identify where along this 7-kilometer trend we have the best chance of finding a gold deposit. Gold does not appear in the till from nowhere. It doesn't rain down from the sky. We're very confident that there's some sort of gold system buried here somewhere in this trend line. What kind of gold system is there? Those are the questions we still have to answer. Hopefully the results that we expect to be getting back sort of in the end of October will help us answer those questions. Really the plan here is to identify what is the host rock unit that is hosting this gold that we're seeing shedding into the till, and target that rock unit with a geophysics program likely sometime over in the winter in advance of a maiden drill program sometime in 2025. You know, when you want to find big gold discoveries, it really helps if you start out with a very big trend. 7 kilometers is a very big distance where we're consistently seeing gold. Those are the sorts of things you want to see when you're looking to make big gold discoveries. So we're very excited about what we see here. It's really going to be our focus going forward. It's going to be the gold discovery potential at Opunaka. Our advisors, our board, everybody in Venta Capital and Discovery Group are very keen on what they see here. And we're working with the best in the business. Kennerland Minerals is executing the work for us. They're doing a fantastic job in the field. It is the same team that is using the same strategy to help us make a discovery here at Opunaka that they've made in the past elsewhere in Quebec. So we're working with the best in the business. You know, we're a pre-discovery phase company, and as we saw from Peter earlier, that's really where you want to be, is that timing right before discovery is made. That is some of the fastest way to create value for shareholders, is as part of that discovery process. So we certainly encourage you to join us in that process here at Opunaka. We have some news on the horizon with our sample results coming back probably by the end of October, and we'll be announcing, you know, future field programs after that as well, based on those results. So we've got a fantastic team supporting us. In terms of our capital structure, I don't have a slide up there, but we have about 103 million shares outstanding right now. I think we closed at 6 cents yesterday, so we've got a market cap of about 6 million Canadian. Again, we've got some fantastic shareholders behind us, and we're working in Quebec, which is one of the best places to explore in the world. It's consistently ranked in the top 5 jurisdictions in the world for mining exploration and mining activity. They have some of the best tax incentives. When we did a financing in March of this year, we were selling hard dollar units at 10 cents, but we were using the charity flow-through structure to actually raise our exploration dollars, and we were doing that at 17.5 cents. So we were able to get a 75% premium on there, which allows us to conduct exploration in Quebec with minimal dilution to our shareholders going forward. So we're very happy to be working there. We've got great support from the local communities, and we're about 50 kilometers from an all-seasons highway that also has a high voltage power line running next to it. So we're certainly within distance of high quality infrastructure, and when you're looking for big deposits, you want to make sure you've got that infrastructure in your backyard as well for future development potential. So very excited about what we see here. I appreciate your time today. We'll be here till the rest of the afternoon, so please come by and find out some more about Targa exploration and our exciting Opunaka Gold project. Thank you.